Hey everybody, what is going on? This is OrvieWoah bringing you another Call of Duty video, and in today's video we're talking about how to get atomic camo in Call of Duty Vanguard. I have a few tips and tricks that I think will make the run a little bit easier for you. If you could, I would love it if you'd like the video, share it around a little bit, try to get some love, get the algorithm running. We can try and get this channel back up and running again. So anyways, that's all I really have to say for that. Short intro, let's get right into the tips. Okay, so essentially I feel there are two different ways to attack getting atomic camo on your weapons. The way that I use is I just run through, I play with every single gun until I get it to max level. I really don't pay a ton of attention to most of the challenges as I'm going. I just hit max level, move to the next gun. Max level, move to the next gun. That way I can really take advantage of double XP weekends and double XP tokens, things like that. And I can have a little more fun. Also, if you're the type where playing with one gun for a really long time just annoys you and you want to switch it up, my way gives you a little bit more freedom there. You can just kind of switch to whatever you want to whenever you feel like it. The other way that I think probably most people use is they will just go for gold camo on each gun and just go through it like that. Both are fine. I don't really know if one way is any quicker than the other. You will end up playing with one gun longer, obviously, in a row if you were playing 4 gold right off the bat on each gun. The thing that I do like about my way, like I said, is that you can switch around. I can run the automaton for a little while, switch over to the MP40 for a little while. Once I've leveled that up, I can come down here and do this. If I'm tired of subs, I could switch over and do a shotty for a while until I hit max. But it just gives me a little more freedom to play around and play with different guns where I don't feel like I'm locked in. Of course, you can do that at any point, but when I have in the past tried to focus on getting one gun gold, I tend to want to finish that before I feel like I can move. So it just gives you a little more freedom in that aspect. A few things before we get into the actual guns and what challenges you're going to do. There are a couple of things you can do game-wise that will also help quite a bit. One tip, first of all, this should be the number one tip. This is the thing that is going to really make it, I feel like, doable. If you aren't already doing this, if you've gotten mastery level camos without doing what I'm about to say, you are insane. The absolute first thing that you need to be doing is switching to hardcore and ship house 24/7. That is going to change really your entire life on this challenge that you're trying to do. Makes absolutely every challenge on every gun easier to do, except for one thing where I'll mention here in a minute. It's just, you need to be doing it. It's so much easier. It's so much faster. It is, I would say that it almost cut your time in doing this in half. Much easier. I'll run some gameplay footage at some point through this video of me playing hardcore on DOS House and Shipment, and it's just, well, you've played it. But some other things we want to look at here. I want to also, when I'm doing this, if you can, you want to switch your combat pacing to blitz. We want to have as many targets as possible at all times, and this will give us the best chance. You're not always going to get put in blitz when this is on here, but we want to try and make it always put us in blitz. You may end up in some of the others. That's okay. Do whatever you want to there. The one time when I don't run hardcore is when anytime it doesn't give you advantage on health. So if you're playing with the same weapons, essentially, say you're playing your normal subs, your normal ARs, whatever, that everyone else is running as well, then hardcore is going to give you advantage. It's going to give you essentially a 1 or 2 hit kill. Your headshots are going to be much easier. It's going to be a lot easier to spray down multiple people for multi-kills and all the things like that. The one place where it doesn't give you an advantage is when your gun kills faster than who you were trying to kill's gun. If they are running subs and ARs and it takes them 2 or 3 shots to kill you in core, even with really good shots, maybe more than that on some, and you're using a sniper that can kill them in 1 shot to almost anywhere, then you want to switch back to core. You can still, when it's available, you can see the annoying that this game is that it's DOS House and Shipment are not available in their own playlist at the moment. You can still run on that mode. It's still going to give you the most action. The only time you'll need to really switch off of that is for long shots. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. But that's really what you want to be doing Again, staying in the blitz combat pacing, and just kind of taking advantage of that extra damage that your sniper does. You can still run sniper in hardcore, and if you're really good with snipers, it's probably about the same roughly. But if you are having a little more trouble, you feel like you are getting gunned down pretty quick before you can get your whatever your sights lined up or whatever, switch over to core for your snipers. That will definitely give you a little bit of an edge there on the people that are running guns that take multiple bullets to kill you. There was also a time, I think it's changed mostly now, for our launchers. There's been a lot of buffs and nerfs since I have started playing this and ran through this. There was a long while where the Panzerfaust and the MK11 still did pretty good damage. I think one-hit kills most of the time in core. I don't think that's the case anymore, or at least not with the way that people are all running Fortified now. So you can play with that a little and see, but I'm pretty sure that even with those, you're going to want to be in hardcore for the most part. So outside of the game modes that we want to run, and I'll break down individual game modes you might want to do for certain other guns as well at some point. A couple other just small things, your kill streaks. I like to set them up like this: Intel, Spy Plane, Guard Dog. Essentially, we don't care about our kill streaks right now. We are not using them at all, except to give us info to get more kills. Only gun kills count for us, so it doesn't really matter if I'm running dogs and ball turret gunner and get a 200 kill game. If only 15 or 20 of them came from my gun, I'm hurting myself on my challenges. And if I'm ending games faster because of this, it's not good either. So we want kill streaks that we, one, don't have to be locked into ourselves. So you don't want to be on like a glide bomb where it takes you out of the game and you have to control it. And two, we want kill streaks that are going to give us intel. Intel, Spy Plane, Guard Dog gives us a little bit of help around us. If you feel like you're a pretty good player and you're constantly getting higher kill streaks, you can either switch the Intel or the Guard Dog for local informants, which is obviously much better than both of those. It will show every enemy and which direction they're facing. Huge impact on the game. It is a 12 kill streak. A lot of the time, since we're going to mostly be playing in Blitz, Hardcore, Shipment, you're going to have a little bit of a tough time getting on a 12 kill streak. But if you're getting it all the time, this will help as well. You can run that as well. Field upgrades. I think the go-to now is going to be trophy system. I think that's going to be huge for most people. When I was running, it was not available, so I ran deployable cover a lot of times, which is really good. I never really ran into any times where anything else was super helpful, other than, of course, dead drop being helpful to get your kill streaks, which doesn't really help us much for what we're looking for. But in hardcore, the jammers and the field mics don't help much. You could run supply box. The only other real reason to run supply box is to help other people get their atomic camo. You will be looking for these in some of your kill streaks to get for your launchers. This will help with some of your challenges. So if you want to put those down to help other people out, go for it. So now we jump straight into the guns themselves. Just right off of the bat, most of your guns, I'll show you the challenges here and the way that the challenges are set up. They are all almost the exact same with tiny little tweaks for styles of guns. So pretty much every gun challenge you're going to have is get certain amount of eliminations, certain amount of headshots, certain amount of multi-kills, 5 kills without dying 30 however many times, certain amount of long-range kills, certain amount of close-range kills. This one, this Wildcat, is going to be set to the gun type usually. So on ARs, we have to get in a certain amount of eliminations with 10 attachments equipped. With subs, it is, I believe, hipfire kills. With shotguns, it is one-hit kills. This rotates on the gun type. But for that, for the most part, it's always the same. And then you have 3 more challenges here that unlock as you level up the gun. I believe it's 60, 65, and 70 on the levels most of the time. And a lot of the times, all of the time, what they force you to do is use certain attachments on your gun and then also do a challenge. None of them are very hard. The problem is they're a little repetitive most of the time with challenges you've already done. So one thing that doing my way, where you max level the gun first, is a lot of times you'll still have, maybe 50 headshots left, and then one of these asks you to get headshots, and you can kind of do them at the same time and kind of knock out both at once. Now, one thing that has happened lately is anything with long range kills went from 100 and has been knocked down to 50. They've done this on a few of the other challenges as well, where they've taken the numbers down. So that's just a good thing. It's going to help you guys out. When I was doing this, it was all at 100 on all of these, but you can see here it's 50 long range kills here, and on Death Artist, it's been knocked down to 50 as well. So again, just easier. But if you haven't gotten them all done, or maybe since you were running on shipment, you've got none of these done by the time you unlock this, you can do these both at the same time. Make sure as you're going through, if you do it my way and hit 70 and you're going back doing challenges, check these and make sure that there's not one that lines up with something else that you can be doing at the same time. If you go and go, okay, I need my long shots, and you go do it, but you don't have one of these attachments equipped, you're just going to have to do it over again. So make sure that you line up and you use your time wisely and line these up with other challenges that you may have left. It'll just make everything go a whole lot quicker. Now, what I would recommend for your class, for your overall class setup, especially if you were starting from scratch right now, whatever gun you're running at the first, you're focusing on, always have a launcher as your secondary to start. The pistols on this game are ridiculously good, very easy to level up and do the challenges on. They will take you no time to do those on your own. The launchers, on the other hand, will take some time, even if you do really well with them. So we want to have these as a backup at all times, and just kind of, as you see stuff in the air, shoot it down. As you see it in the ground, shoot it down. Just be looking for those things. The challenges on these are almost all the same except for a couple. Eliminations, which if you want to wait and do that at the end, you can do this in about 20 minutes for all of them in hardcore. Very easy to do. Enemy kill streaks, equipment, or field upgrades. Again, you can do as many as you want to in one game on this. No problem. Just go through, shoot anything you see. This should probably go fairly quickly for you. 50 ground kill streaks or field upgrades is a little tougher. This was much easier when everyone in the world was running dogs, because this works on dogs. But again, if you put on like engineer, you'll see stuff around the map. It may take a little while to do, but easier than you would think. Just anytime you get a chance. Also, on the dogs, you don't have to shoot them with this. You can melee them with this. Sometimes that helps, and you can get quite a few more done that way. On this one in particular, you have long shots, and then you have destroy 3 enemy kill streaks in a game 30 times. The problem with this challenge, this is on most of your launchers. I think the MK11 is the only one that doesn't have this. You can only do one set of this per game. So I'll show you a trick to getting this done, but essentially what you want to do here is, as soon as you've destroyed 3, if you have nothing else to work for in that game challenge-wise, like if you finished the gun that you're working on, whatever, if this is all you have left, just back out of the game. It absolutely does work. In previous games, it has not kept your stats like that, but in this one, as soon as you're done with it, back it on out. It should show you every time. I think it does 3 at a time here, right? Yeah, every 3, you'll see it uptick. So you can just kind of keep track of that, but you can destroy 3 in a game, back out, start a new game. Otherwise, it will not count more that you do over that. Now, on the other launchers, the bazooka, the Panzerschreck, these things shoot down stuff fairly easily. So you can actually just shoot the stuff out of the air, all 3, if you want to with that. But the quickest way to do any of them, and especially the Panzerfaust, which will give you some trouble, is to load up your top gun like this with armor piercing. And then what you can do is, anytime you see kill streaks, the first 2 that you see, shoot it down with your gun. UAVs, whatever it may be. Shoot them down with your gun. Won't take long at all. You'll actually be surprised how easy it is to take down. Shoot 2 down with your gun. On the last one, shoot it down with your Panzerfaust or what have you. That will count as all 3 done with the launcher. You just need to make sure that the 3rd one is done with the launcher. Whatever you blow the 3rd one up with, that's what it counts towards. So you shoot 3 things down with your AR on accident, then shoot something with this, ain't working. So make sure the 3rd thing gets shot with your launcher. Once you've done that, back out of the game, switch back out. Again, another thing, if you're having trouble, you can put engineer on, and that'll help you see enemy kill streaks as they come in. Some of the maps are a little tough to see that. Okay, so if we're talking about a couple of the few things that you may give you some trouble that aren't very straightforward, let's look at the melee things. On your primary, you have the combat shield. Really not very tough at all. Most of this in hardcore is very easy. 50 elims, backstabbers, slides. The tough two are the double kills and the enemy is stunned. Double kills, honestly, really not that tough either on hardcore DOS house or shipment. This one is a little tricky, and I don't know at the time of this video if they have patched this yet. When I was running through this, it says 30 kills while enemy is stunned. What it meant was you needed to be stunned while you killed the enemy. I don't know if they've patched this or switched this yet. If not, it works about the same way regardless. So you just want to run stuns, stun yourself when you're close to an enemy. Easiest way to do this is just flank the crud out of everyone. Always try to be in the spawn behind them where they're running out of so they're not expecting it, and be close. Still best to do it on hardcore. If you are having trouble doing it on a DOS house or a shipment because there is so much action, it may make sense to go on to some of the bigger maps. It'll take longer because you're going to have to run more, but you can switch this to some of the bigger maps and just really flank. Get into spawns. Sometimes you'll catch some people AFK. That'll make it easy. You only end up having to get 30, so it's not the most horrendous thing in the game, but it will take a little bit of time. That one really should be the only thing that gives you any trouble on this or on your fighting knife. This is the easiest game I've ever done for knives. Again, all the exact same challenges. It's going to work the exact same. Knife works great. It's really easy. I think still, I may have ran this on core actually. This is another one of those things where, much like the snipers, you kill them so easily with this that you get a benefit of having some extra health. So you're still a one hit regardless in core. I would probably run this in core. But again, all of these work the same way with this one. Just try to get a flank, stun, stab, stab, and works pretty well. The only other guns, like I said, that are really odd at all, we talked about the Panzerfaust and how to handle its hardest one is this right here, is the destroy 3 enemy kill streaks. It was tweaked for a while where long shots had to be direct impacts to count. I think they have fixed that by now. If not, still, you just want to work the long hallways on DOS house and just hope for impacts. That's really all you can do. It takes a while, but it's really the only way to work on it. The other one that might give you a little trouble is the MK11. Again, there's not really any tricks to it, but these two, double kills and triple kills, it's the only thing that's different on any of the launchers there. And again, the fix for it, shipment, DOS house. Keep launching them. Shoot them right down the main hallway. It will take a little bit of time. Eventually, you'll get them all. You'll probably get more luck. Again, you want to try and run blitz, and you want to try and be in as many of the objective game modes as you can, where you get people running to a spot, hopefully getting team killed, or not team killed, but hopefully getting multi-kills on them and then coming out of spawn, all running bunched up. This will happen over time. You really just got to sit there and shoot it down. So just for your overall class, as what's going to help the most as you're trying to do this, Fortified is always probably your best first perk. If you are running into more fire damage, you can run Dauntless instead, but these are really the two that give you the most help. I pretty much have always ran forward intel. On hardcore, if you don't have a UAV up all the time, it's a little less helpful. It's still pretty great. Engineer is going to be really, really good for any of the times that you are working on your launchers. And then for the last one, lightweight or double time. These are going to be your best bets. You can do the move where you run overkill and put a shield on your back and then work on your primary gun as technically your secondary. But really only losers do this, and we don't like them. So don't. That's all I have to say about that. Now, a trick you can do while running snipers, which also tends to give some people some trouble, is just treat them like any normal gun. Treat them like a one-shot marksman rifle, or even like an AR that's on single fire. Again, shipment, DOS house, hardcore. Try to quick scope with these things. If you're not good at quick scoping, you can still just hold down a line in either of those maps and do just as well, but it's going to work out a lot better for you on those, even though they're smaller maps. It's going to work out a lot better for you. Also, if you use the quick scoping, if you try to quick scope a little bit, you'll get a little better at it, which is nice to have. But if not, even if not, it's still going to be better than sitting on some huge map waiting and getting 2 or 3 kills a game. There are certain maps that line up better for that, where you can get a lot of kills sniping traditionally. Take advantage of those if you want to, but everything that I did on these, I was able to move through them very quickly by just playing on, again, shipment, DOS house, on core, and then just trying to kind of quick scope and move around quickly. One thing that you want to look for a few times, a lot of times it will benefit you to not run a magazine on these, just because of you're losing out on too many bullets, or there's just too much of a penalty on the damage and penetration, things like that. So a lot of times I run no mag depending on the gun. Everything else you just want to load up on aim down sight speed and sprint to fire time, and then just treat this like a one-shot AR essentially. You can run deep breath even if you're running irons, which is what I like to do when working on these guns as far as leveling them. Even without a scope, you can still get your deep breath kills by holding your breath, even on like quick scopes. You really just click it at the same time you aim down, bang, that counts. They're pretty lenient on that throughout your sniper challenges. So I use a setup very similar to this for almost all of my leveling purposes. You can even do headshots like this. The only time this is going to give you trouble is when you're ready to work on long shots, and then you will probably want to switch to a more traditional style setup. Now, one other thing about long shots specifically is that they change based on the type of gun you're using. So if you're using a submachine gun, you can get long shots on DOS house. You can get long shots on ship. You can get long shots much closer than on other guns. The pistols have the shortest long shot range as far as I know, then subs, then ARs, and it scoots out further than that. So when you get to some of the longer guns, ARs, the LMGs, the marksmans, these, then is the only other time that I recommend switching your game mode. And what I do then, we usually still tend to be in hardcore, but I switch off of ship house, and we want to put on hardpoint and dom. And a lot of times I like to run patrol as well. You could probably do kill confirmed, but you want games that are going to last longer. So obviously, so you have more time to get your kills. And again, we still want to be set on blitz if possible. That'll also tend to give us the bigger maps. But any of these modes where there's a set point that people run to, you can kind of set up around that area in some sight line and get your best bang for your buck on long shot kills. You should be able to do it in, a few games and then switch right back to your ship house to finish any other challenges up. The only other little tip that I have that I forgot while we were going through some of the beginner things is that if you are completely new to the game and haven't leveled any gun up, then you'll need to look at what operator you're using as well. Because as you can see in the top right over here, a lot of these have a favorite weapon. And when you're using that weapon with that operator, you get double XP for that weapon. So if you are working on the 3-line rifle, you want to be using Polina. If you're using the Type 100, you want to be using Wade. It'll help you level that gun up at least till you get to max. Then you can switch to whatever you want to. And again, if your guns are already leveled, then this doesn't really matter. But if you are starting from scratch, then these can give you a little bit of a boost on your leveling up the weapons, which is by far the longest challenge of any of this part. So that's pretty much it. If you'd like to see more guides like this, or if you'd like me to dive deeper into this and maybe go down and break down each individual gun, please let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to do it. I just kind of want to know what you guys would like to see moving forward. Hopefully this guide was helpful for you. If it was, please remember to leave a like. Would absolutely love that. But other than that, we're just happy that you watched, and we'll catch you next time.